Hey teammate, welcome to Window Effects. Today we're going to do an intro video teaching you how to use our software for our plotters to cut out film. So it's an entry-level job. As you start, you have to learn the basics before you move up. So right here, what we're going to do is we're going to get onto the website and we're going to go to Johnson Plotter Software, and then we're going to double click on there and let it load up. I like to make the screen bigger. That's helpful. Make the screen bigger. All right, the first thing we want to do is learn some of the couple main things right here. First thing is this is the quick cut button that's going to cut your film. All right, this right here tells us what plotter we're on. There's the 9000 right here to your left, which is the bigger one. And then there's the little 600 one here to the right for smaller film. So we're going to make sure which plotter we'll be on. So let's just go to that one right here because we're plugged up into this one. And then what we're going to do right here is we're going to open up Pattern Database. So when you open up the database, right here is going to be a list. I already had this thing clicked on Chevy, but it's going to be a list of all the models that they make. So all you simply do is you're going to click on here. Let's say we got a Chevy. Once we click on Chevy, we need to find out what's the model of the vehicle. Let's say we just did like an Equinox. Now it could be an EV, so we got to know which one. So it's an Equinox, it's a 4-door. So let's just say we picked up like a truck because they're a little more confusing right here. And we did a Silverado 1500 model. So they got a 2-door pickup, an extended cab, a 4-door. So we got to know the difference on that, and I'll do the difference maybe in another video. So let's say we got a 4-door truck. You're going to go over here to this S. This is important to look. This is a short pattern. This is the long pattern. Okay, so since we two-stage, we click on the long pattern. So I click on the long pattern, and here's the windows that pull up. So we would click on a window right here, say we're doing the passenger side, and then we'd hit quick cut, and then it would print out over there. Things that we need to know, like if it's a green pattern, we need to read because they're a little different. See, this one says green patterns are deeper into the gasket. So in this car, we like to use those green patterns. So that's where you just have to ask an expert installer when we're here. Also, if you notice, I can click on these and drag these, but whatever one I click on, it's important. If you look at these right here, it tells you what the size of it is. So we click on that, so we know it's 20 inches. The height's on the bottom, the width is on the top. Again, the height is on the bottom, the width is on the top. So if I click on the windshield, notice the height of it's 30 inches and long, it's 62 inches. So it's good, important to know that. It's 20 inch, we gotta have at least a 24-inch roll in there so it cuts that way. Or we can turn and cut it the other way. But that's just the basics on what those tools mean right there. Okay, what we're going to talk about now is making a duplicate. So what happens is, this is a Chevy Blazer and they have these extra quarter windows and they're a little bit tricky. So sometimes what we want to do is we want to make 2 of them so we can have an extra one in case we mess up and we can save film. So what we're going to do is drag this over. Now we usually be cutting this on a 20-inch roll. So what happens is, like if we do this window and we want to save film here, it's 17 inches. So we added that little piece and we're still at 17 inches. So we can put an extra one. So what I did is I hit Control and D, and it makes a duplicate. Sometimes that duplicate pops up all over the place. So you can right click and also go to duplicate. Sometimes these things, there it went. See, it popped up over there. So we got duplicates. So what we could do is here is rotate these down, move these over, move this one up a little bit. All right, I'm gonna highlight the whole thing. And now I'm still within the cutting range, under 20 inches, all right, to be able to cut that on the film. So I can print that out in case I mess up one, then I got 2 of them. And I could do the same thing to the other side. And if I wanted more room, I could click this and drag these up here so I wasn't working with all this stuff together. Now remember, Control R rotates them. So Control R, rotate. And again, I can move these closer. So say that my cut right here in the plotter has plenty of room. But let's say my plotter cut, I'm going to show you right now how to figure out how big your plotter cut is. You flip a pattern. So say I want to do these ones right here. So the first thing too, also you need to understand is these red lines, that's the way it comes out of the machine. Okay, so if we want to back up with the camera here, so we're visualizing this window right here is going to come out of the machine with this front here. So this window is actually going to come out this way. So if I turn this window, so if it ever gets those little red things on there, I go at this little thing right here and that resets it back to this. This is what we want, those black dots. But if I hit Control R for rotate, all right, now it's going to come out long ways. So that window's, now it flipped it. See how it's 33 long on the bottom? Or that's actually the height, but it's going to be long. So if we back up the camera now and we visualize it coming this way, that bottom edge is going to come out this way. So this film is actually going to be longer this way because it's coming out on the bottom edge. So again, if I hit Control R and rotate it, it's going to come out skinny ways now from top to bottom. The first piece that's going to come out of the plotter is that little piece, and the high edge is going to be back. So that's how it comes out of the plotter. So on this back window, let's say I was printing out this back window. If I flipped it this way, that piece is so long, it's 57 inches. It would never come out of that plotter. It would get cut off in half. So you're doing it wrong. It would never even fit in that way. So that's how you have to visualize. These red lines are telling you the loading pattern. So it's coming out of the plotter like that. So if I went and hit, now to go back, it's like a regular computer, I hit Control Z. So I could print this whole section out. So by hitting the button right here and holding it in and doing this little drawing, I could go like this and print that whole entire section out. And that tells me that's 41 wide by 61 long. And all four of those pieces, starting with the front will come out first. It'll come out the plotter just like that. All right, so the way we do these little windows on the back of a truck is we Control R them right here to save film, and you can flip all of them around, Control R, and then you can use the arrow button right here to move them up, move them over, or you can grab it and move it with the mouse. All right, that's a little close, so I'm gonna hit the over button till I can see a sliver to save film. I'm gonna move it over a little more. Then I'm going to left click and draw over top of it, and boom, it's going to print all three of those pieces out like that on only a 24-inch roll because it's 21 inches wide. All right, so I can go Control Z and get all those back to the beginning if I wanted to, or we can just kind of leave it there. When I exit out, it'll reset everything. All right, so that's how we use the direction of the plotter. All right, future teammate, I'm going to teach you how to load up the plotter. So what we're going to do is we want to lay the box down, even if it was a bigger box, and I want to grab it in the middle and unload both sides of those things. These things hold the roll in. All right, I don't want to tilt this down like this or this thing will slide out. So I want to hold it with one hand, or the bigger rolls with two, but the toilet paper needs to go under the roll. I don't want to load it up. See, I almost slipped. I don't want to load it up out the top. I want to load it up where the roll comes out the bottom. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold it. I don't want to load it up here. I want to make sure both sides are even. I'm going to reach over and drop it into the back. And I want to pull this. This lever needs to be down because that's locked in. So I need to pull it down. And then I need to reach my hands, pull it up. And I need to reach my hands underneath here and slide it up through. All right. So the way the plotter works now is this tin. I can move this when it's not locked in. I have to have these wheels lined up with the blue thing. So if you come over here in front of me, I'm going to grab the roll back here and then grab the roll in the front and I'm going to slide it over. I'm going to line it up with the edge of these things right here. See that? That's a grippy wheel that's going to push down there and push down here. All right, now I'm going to show you. Now I'm going to unload it. So I'm going to wind it back up. All right, make sure I'm grabbing it straight. This is how we're going to load it back into the box. One side, tilt it up, one side, because I don't want to damage the edge of this film. Lay it back in, and I always have the roll facing out so I know what film is in there. I'm going to show you how to load up a bigger roll because I'm going to show you how to move those things. So let's say we got some IR35. All right, again, grab it, pull the ends out, keep it in the middle, lifting it over the back. Look down here on the back. Sometimes these black things can slide to hold that in, but I really don't need to use those much as long as it's lined up straight. So I'm going to pull it out, grab it with my hand, get this side going, slide it underneath some, and catch it in the front. Now, for this to cut, it has to be lined up on one of these and on this big one over here. So what I'll need to do is slide the tint over to that grippy wheel. And now it's on this big one here because this thing won't cut if these things aren't lined up in front of the blue. See the blue? Now I don't want to cut the tint right here, so I got to slide this thing now. And you'll hear it click in. Boom, just clicked in. So if it was a little beside, it wouldn't work. So I got it lined up there. And now I need to line up this one now to this side. So I slide that wheel over to where that black is on the edge of the tint. And then this wheel is just an extra wheel. I honestly don't even know why it's there. So now I'm going to lock in the film by flipping that up. Now it's locked in. It's not going anywhere because these things push down on this grippy spot. So now I'm going to come over to here, and the first thing I'm going to do is go hit number one. We need to roll the front edge, and what that does is measure our tint. So this thing is calibrating now, and that calibration is going to tell us about the roll. So it's 74 inches is our cut. So I can hit the down arrow and hold it in, and it'll tell me what my cut thing is. It's 34. So it's 34.89 wide. If I can hit home, the 2 button, it goes back. So the first thing I want to do is make sure this long thing is going straight, as I'm going to hold the down arrow, and I'm going to let this thing come out of the film. Then make sure it's coming out straight on this thing. Okay, it's coming out straight. I got it lined up right. Now, if you remember, I said I hit right here, number 2. If I hit the home button, it'll wind it back up and get us all the way ready to cut. So now we know we're good. So notice it said it was cutting 34. When I went and hit here, the cut area is 34, 34.89. All right, and again, I put the film out this way so we can look over and know there's 35 IR, which is a ceramic film. So the reason why that distance is good is when I put this in here now, I know my cut size is 34. So now, if you watched before on the video, I could flip this window this way because it's going to come out this way, and it's cutting 34.09, and this over here said that it was cutting 34.89. So this number is smaller. If this number is smaller than what's on there, then it'll cut out. If this number right here said it was 35 and this said it was 34, this is only cutting at 34 and the piece is at 35, so it will not fit. It won't fit. We need to make sure that this number here is bigger than this number here for it to cut. So that's how you know you got the right film in. Just quickly again, we're going to go over and unload. We're done with the film. I'm going to unlock it. That loosens these wheels up, and I'm going to wind it back up. All right, I can hold the roll right here, make sure it's tight. All right, I'm gonna gently put this back in. So I'm gonna put in this side, lay it down, put in this side, lay it back down, put it in the roll. Close the roll up, line it back up, back over here on the shelf. Okay, so sometimes you may get a vehicle and you look at the year number, we find the VIN number. So you can find the VIN number on the bottom of the driver's side door. It tells you the month and the year that it was made. So it may be like 2, which is February of, let's say, 2012. So anytime something comes up on the plotter and it changes patterns, like, so that means in 2012 and 2015, it's a different vehicle. They changed the model. So if I click on 2012, and I go over here, you can see, so this model, Colorado, is made from 2004 all the way to 2020, all the way to 2012. They did not change the model. So if I go up to 15, the models in that truck go from 15 to 22. So if I go to 23, that truck is from 2023 to present. That tells you like when they changed the body style of the vehicle, so the windows will be different. So sometimes in 2012, it may say 6 of 2012, or 1 of 2012, or 9 of 2012. That's the manufacturing date. But sometimes, even though it's a 2012, it might be the 2015 model. So it's important that you check if it's right on the edge. So you can come back over here. So if it's a 2004 or a 2012 and it hits either one of these numbers, you need to double check so you don't cut out the wrong way. So the way we do that is if you hit VIN year and we type in, let's say I went over and looked at it and I put in K, it's the 10th VIN. Okay, so on the VIN number on the door, you count over 2, 4, 6, 8 to the 10th one, or you count 1, 2, 3, all the way to the 10th one, and we put that letter in, whatever it falls, let's say it was a K, it tells me that was a 2019. So that's the newer model. So if we go up here and we click on it, and it was the K told us that it was a 2019, it's in there as the 15 to 22 model. So again, if it falls on the borderline of 15 and 22, then I need to check the VIN. All right, now I can X that out so that goes away and it takes me back to normal. So I really shouldn't even hit enter right there, but that's just, what the purpose of that, it stops you from cutting out the wrong pattern. So let's say, because we noticed we put the K in there and it was actually a newer model. If I didn't do that and I just said, oh, well, it says it was 612, and I come over here and print out 612 and all the windows are wrong because it fell right on that year, and just because they manufactured it and made it in the factory in the year 2012 doesn't actually mean it's a 2012. It could be the 2013 model. They just made it in 2012. So it's very important if it falls on those edge numbers that you check it with the VIN.